Alrighty, good morning everybody. No, I'm on Discord too, brother. I got it all fixed up. Hold on one second. Looks like my screen is loading here. Give me just a second. There we go. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is June 8th, 2021. What the heck? I talked to some kid last night I was playing the game with my son, and he was like, I was born in 2010. I was like, what? But then I remembered I have a kid too. It's born in 2014, so he's almost 10 too. But all right, so let's go straight to the news here. Successful swings, it looks like, here in pre-market. If anybody took those Microsoft calls, we are in the money. If you guys are long, we're gonna go ahead and kind of decipher price action. If you're in weeklies, it's always best to take profit. You probably will, if it does fall out of the money, or if it bounces out of the money and then goes back in, you will likely see some type of gamma squeeze. So, alrighty. So right off the bat, I'm gonna do one thing here. All right. All right, so right off the bat, we are going to be talking about some Biden moves. Biden administration has set up a task force to go after China on trade. The Biden administration said that it has rolled out new findings of as it has rolled out new findings of a review of the U.S. Access to critical products for semiconductors and electric vehicle batteries. Big tech supports global tax, but wants digital services levies axed. So the U.S. tech giants could benefit from the agreement of the group of seven richest countries. Of the group of seven rich countries, I'm not quite sure what that is. Agreement to create a global minimum 15% corporate tax rate in the final deal, after also scraps increasingly popular digital services taxes, according to industry lobbyists. So it looks like they're trying to make some negotiations there. The U.S. must work with allies to secure electric vehicle metals. The White House, the United States must work with allies to secure the minerals needed for electrical vehicle batteries, process them domestically in light of environmental and other competing interests, said global White House officials. All right. So Apple's in talks with looks like cattle or CATL, BYD over battery supplies for its electric car source. Apple is in the early stage talks with China, CATL and BYD about the supply of batteries for its planned electrical vehicles. Four people with knowledge of the matter said. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. If you guys swung BA yesterday, that should be the money there. Let's see here. So U.S. stock futures fell as investors maintained a cautious stance ahead of key inflation data later this week. European stocks were higher, supported by travel and real estate shares, but weak German industrial output data doubts over the United Kingdom lifting restrictions later this month, capping gains. Japan's stock index ended up lower, dragged down by losses in heavyweights, including SoftBank Group. The dollar gained, gold prices dipped, oil prices fell, but overall optimism and strong demand recovery limited losses. One second here. Last night we had Fastly, other cyber stocks dipped in pre-market due to they had a outage. Looks like here websites across the internet, including New York Times, Reddit, Bloomberg, after services from content delivery network Fastly went down. Spotify and Twitter users reported problems, so that might have tapped things a little bit, but I doubt that'll. It looks like they've kind of straightened up. The dollar strengthened, like we said. Each S&P future is still a little changed. Tesla's heavy trucking boss, Elon Musk top deputy Jerome Gillian, is expected to quit. The good news is Tesla's China deliveries jumped 29% in May after a weak April. Not so good for Apollo, as the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board is weighing whether to keep investing in the firm because of the way it handled Leon Black's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Let's see. Delta variant may be more dangerous here. This is talking about the COVID variant. The hearing impairment, severe gastric upsets, and blood clots generation to gangrene have been linked to doctors in India to the strain. In England and Scotland, early evidence suggests it carries a higher risk of hospitalization. All right. Peru's markets tanked, just something to keep in mind. I didn't even know they had a stock market, to be honest with you. I just saw that in the headlines. Let's see. Facebook won't take revenue cut from creators until 2023 and jab at Apple. Microstock, surprisingly controversial. I don't like that. They will present at Evercore IAS inaugural TMT conference. Let's see here. Oh, okay, that already happened. There we go. All right. Watching U1. Good stuff. All right, so to start off the day, we'll go over some swings that we took over the weekend. Sorry guys, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Let's see here. All right, so let's do some recapping here. So we'll start off with anybody in Baidu. Baidu held. It's still underneath its 6-day moving average. So today, if this ends up breaking above the 9, then anybody in the downside. Obviously, we want to make a candle close above that with strength. If we don't and we get pulled back under, then I think that Baidu will likely continue to move to the downside. One second. All right. There we go. So that one pretty simple. Just break above the 9. We'll close it. If it continues to trend to the downside, we will continue to hold that put. If you are in Baidu, awesome movement. Really happy with the Microsoft swing. It is weekly, so it is going to pay, especially for what we bought it for. Pretty happy about that. This puts us above this resistance right here, the 254.30 that I was talking about previously. And so this is exactly what I'm looking for going into today, is hopefully at least a test of 256. I can't imagine that we would break into a daily gap like we have. You can see that right here. I can't imagine that we would see that. I could be wrong. If you guys are in one contract, that's where anxiety can really start to affect your decision making. So if that's the case, you know, I'll take a look at U1 and HMBL for sure. Just going to go over these swings really quick. But yeah, so Microsoft has that gap to fill starting at the 256 level. So if anything, I do imagine that Microsoft will move up or likely wick up. It could even, I mean, there's a potential for a retest here as well. We did have this resistance here previously that we could end up retesting as well. Let me, sorry for those of you on YouTube, let me fix that really quick. There we go. Okay, so anyway, if you guys are holding that Microsoft, I have the target today of 256.15. I think at that point that we could end up making a doji in this space. It also depends on the cues. If you guys look at the cues, the correlating setup is that if they can push the 339.45 level, then we could potentially see a leg up or some decent movement from Microsoft. Ford. So I actually really dig the movement. If you see this really well respected support right now, we've got 1, 2, 3 touches of support. This one looks like it should push right off that 6-day moving average, crossing over its 9-day moving average. This one looks great, in my opinion, for a push up today. I would say the first target's a break over 16. At that point, maybe you could add weeklies if you are out long with us, especially out until June. And if you are out until July, then you're looking to take profit on the June 18th when they start to, if you have multiple of those were really cheap and definitely lucrative. So you guys can, make sure that you're taking profits off the table and scaling out. So Ford, nice cheap swing. This one we're going to go ahead and set an alert on the trend line. So that way we can, if it does end up touching or retesting it, we at least have an idea of where. A break below 1570 would likely have this pattern reversal, and then we would likely exit the trade. Like I said, relatively cheap, so not too scary. Hold on one second. Did anybody swing Tesla? Top of the morning. There you go. Okay, so let's go look at. Now, this one was really risky. If you guys didn't take this one, then definitely understood. And right now, I'm not getting anything pre-market wise from GRWG. So this one is potentially, it's got this great daily setup here. And it does look like it could potentially hit this 4750 target relatively soon if we can get a breakout. We're inside of this small little wedge right here, so we're going to need to see a breakout today. If a rejection happens, then I would go ahead and switch the sentiment. What's up with crypto? Everything is, the market cycle is playing out as expected. Let's see here. All right. Anybody in anything else? Nugget also. So Nugget not getting much movement here at all. It looks like here in pre-market we're just sitting kind of flat. So I would imagine. Let me go back here. Yeah, I'm looking for, and I'll go ahead and draw. You can copy this trend line. Those of you on Reddit, if you guys just want to head to our YouTube, that way you can actually see the screen being shared, etc., etc. It'd probably be a little bit easier. That's Simple Stacks Investments on YouTube. But anyway, this trend line here. So this is what we're looking at. That's what we're going to want to see a breakout of. If this obviously loses its support, we know what to do at that point. If this ends up trending up, the first target is the 200-day EMA that it's got a gap to fill all the way to $79. So, all right. Let's see. So the first request that I got this morning is Manny on? We're a little bit early, so Manny's not going to be on quite yet. Okay, so U1. Ooh, nice pre-market movement. All right. Looks like you're sitting with a little hourly flag up at the top on U1. You're holding the 6-day moving average. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing ends up kind of tapering back down to the 9-day moving average. You can see that it would likely flag in this space here. So I would expect for this 9-day moving average to creep up, and that would be the potential next bounce level for Urban One. Now, I'm not sure what news is correlating with this, so in that case, you know, for me, I can't put too much like fundamental bias on it or anything like that. But looking at the chart, it does look like it could potentially bounce off of that 9, or at the least, you might see a pullback day. It's had what looks to be a pretty phenomenal June so far, so I wouldn't stretch it. Oh no. He doesn't want me to swing back. I'm nasty. So SOS, yes, looks super duper good. There's some stupid guru on TikTok that he's the worst, and he's in SOS. But I'm wishing all the best. This one has a great falling wedge breakout now inside of another ascending triangle, looking like it wants to make another high here. So this one is a potential squeeze candidate, but it's not quite that high on the list as far as a priority. It looks like BlackBerry and a couple other ones are higher on the priority list. So Fubo. Casino and ad revenue. Okay, cool. That's awesome, Fader. Anything like that, GNOG, all any type of those things are all moving. Looks like it's Fubo's just got a repeated pattern again. Looks like in pre-market setting up a flag. Daily, I mean, you're looking like you're getting up towards what could potentially be a cup right here. One second, guys. I need to use my phone. So if those of you on Reddit would like to hop on to our YouTube, that's Simple Stacks Investments. I'm gonna go and close that. Have a good morning. Sorry, guys. Streaming on Reddit too. You got an SOS. Awesome. Fubo looks good. It has a nice rounded bottom, nice cup. Could potentially see another leg up there. Let's see, Apple. Interesting moves from Apple today, or yesterday. This one definitely made a recovery, showing a nice push. But this resistance right here that I have marked out, you can see it's Wick City here. So that's what we're going to need to see. Oh, it actually, I didn't even see pre-market. We're already up. 126.90. Okay, perfect. Let me go down. Okay, so we've broken over that major resistance. Oh, we got the potential for EMA crossovers here. You got the 6, the 9, 20, and the 50 all looking straight up. Big volume towards the end of the day. That's a nice gap up. This also looks to be I could be wrong, but that does look like a breaking downtrend to me. So yesterday, big bad drop. Then the last 2 hourly candles showing weakness there. Decent bounce. So that looks like a retest. So you got a retest of your downtrend and then a breakout. So I'd say your next target today is 127.50, and then 120, really 128.85 after that. Yeah, Marvel is another one to keep an eye on for sure. Not quite. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure, if you can, to leave a like. The algorithms eat them. Feed the algos. Yeah, they've got a multitude of price target raises. And they broke downtrend as well, so. All right. See, what are you doing, Baidu? Sitting flat. All right, what else are we looking at? Ozone. What news? I need some coffee. All right. Any other requests here? Anybody in Microsoft, by the way? All right. All right, XOM.
Yo,
Yo.
good morning, dude. Morning,
Mo-
everybody.
So it
Yo,
looks like
did the station tell you that your computer clock is different from the trade station clock?
it changes itself.
Yeah, mine does that too. I don't know why, and then it changes itself.
Mine's on New York right now, so it's good. XOM. I don't know if you can see this trend line, man. Um, you look good as far as. Hold on one second. Being in this uptrend, you did lose support, and looks like you're kind of picking back up. And if I delete this line, looks like you almost have like a bit of a daily flag here. So you might end up getting a retest. This is ended looking kind of like a rounded top, so it's going to need to show a bit of strength here today. Otherwise, I think you might end up with a retest of this resistance. But all right, today, guys, my watch list is I'm kind of just looking to take profit on what I got, see where Microsoft runs. And then at that point, Ford, etc., etc., just going to be tending to my swings, looking for new ones going into the day. So you're good to go if you want to.
Good day, yeah. All right, so what's going on, everybody? What is it? Is it Friday yet, or is it still Tuesday? It's Tuesday. So it's not Friday yet. No zero to T. Okay, so
On Q's
names
and SPY.
huh?
SPY and Q's, right?
No, tomorrow, not today.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so names that I'm watching off the bat, I'm watching continuation on Beyond, I'm watching continuation on Snow, continuation on Roku, and I'm watching a breakout on Boeing. Garrett, you gotta tell me when you swing these things, man. Every time you've been swinging Boeing lately, it gaps up. You gotta let me know, man.
That's all it does is gap up.
Yeah, that's all it does. Gaps up, man.
Yeah, that's another one that I might add to. It's likely going to pull back with that strong of a move. You know how Boeing does.
Yeah, it's gonna probably pull back, try to bounce, and then it's gonna go like that 257 level to 260. That's a nice little range there that we can play around with and make some decent money there. But I'm also watching CCIV and Plug. So starting off with Snow. Listen, Snow closed above 250, which this is like one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen in my life. Finally, Snow is getting its strength back. It's absolutely beautiful to see a company coming back from the dead. That's one of the many things I like about trading. But I'm gonna watch it over 253. You know, that high of day, it is what it is. But I care more about that break of 253 and hold of it to continue legging up. So I'm also watching Beyond. Listen, Beyond held above 154 perfectly. Actually, even tried. I think it closed above 254. No, it didn't, but it's up above it. Remember, 254 is that level that we need to hold above to continue legging up. We've had a bit of supply around that range. We need to get over that supply to promote our next higher high. So CCIV, nice momentum, super nice. If any of you guys are in those 30 calls and you have them for the end of the week and you swung them, congrats. I would have literally done the same if I had that exact position. The only reason I TP'd on my CCIV yesterday, man, was because my hotkey started acting up. And here's the thing, when something acts up like that, it just throws me off. It throws me off my focus, and I just wanted to get out of the trade. I didn't really want to deal with that while having a open position. So that's just how I am, but I really wish I would have held that. I had a 25 call. That would have been a nice leg up. So I'm watching over that pre-market high break, but I am also watching a bounce at around 26. which it's pretty, it's the exact same bounce, 25.96. So 26 would be the ideal bounce if we get that low. If not, we're just going to take this over the highs of pre-market. 28 is going to be our first break, and then wherever our pivot points will be at that point. Plug is another one. I'm watching this one over the pre-market highs. I am thinking it can bounce around 33, 32.50, and then maybe 32. Those are the 3 bounce levels that I have, but I am not really focused in Plug off the bell. I'm mostly focused on Boeing and Beyond, more or less, and Roku. Those are the 3 watches that I'm looking at off the bell. Just like with everything, this trade, I get in, right? I get in at that break. The trade's pulled back because it doesn't have strength in that candle to keep going up. I'm gonna cut the trade. That's how I trade bell. I've always told you guys, this is the best way. You got to be quick with things. You can't just sleep on a position or wait for the order to confirm. There's no best available price. There's no nothing. It's just pure execution. CCIV, blah blah blah, Beyond. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm watching. With Snow, again, I'm gonna say this again. Please needs to break 253 and it needs to hold. If not, Snow is just gonna chill there, man. And the bid and ask on Snow is pretty wide. The bid and ask on the contracts are pretty wide. On a pullback, if you have a $25 spread, imagine you already know that if you close out, you're gonna be down an extra $25. You get a pullback, right? Because a fake out. The bid now drops $25 more, right? So now you're fucked. Sorry, excuse me, I know we're on YouTube. So what I'm trying to say is when you got a wide spread like that in both the bid and ask of the stock and the bid and ask of the contract, you need to be careful when you exit. Because if you exit on a pullback, you're going to get literally the worst available fill order. No questions about that. And then if you go with momentum and you sell on the ask, you put a limit order sell, then you're going to sell at the best available price. Just something to keep in mind.
Manny,
I'm good. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
All right, guys. So yesterday in the chat, and I had went over this play specifically in pre-market, Next. So if you took Next at the open yesterday, you should be up roughly 50%. It's up to $4.58, and yesterday it opened up at roughly like 309. So if you are in that play, if you did take that play yesterday, feel free to take profits, manage your own risk from there, guys. Here's what I'm watching today. So obviously Clover, big one that everybody's watching, got about roughly 40% short interest. There's some numbers out there saying that it could be in the 70s due to synthetic shares. That's not 100% though. So you got to play with the data that you do have available and understand. But that's the big one that everybody's watching. So you might see some volume trickle out of some of the major names, especially in big betas and big tech. And you might see volume kind of go away from some of the penny runners that you typically would see run depending on the news. But besides Clove, here's a list kind of what I'm watching on my penny stocks. So SONM, they have a partnership with a UK company to bring their cell phone brand to the UK. It's a small phone development corporation based out of Austin, Texas. That's pretty big for them. They're a penny stock. I want to say they trade roughly in the 60-something cent range. So that's one I'll be watching because that's a decent bit of revenue that's supplemental to their current revenue. And then HOLUW announces effectiveness for registration of proposed business combination with Astra Space. I'm looking into that. I can't find a lot of information on it just yet, so that one's iffy for me. I don't know if I'll take that trade unless I know exactly what this combination is going to be. PDSB is the next ticker. This one's pretty interesting. So right now, it says that they're working to release interim data for lead phase 2 clinical study and oral presentation. Annual meeting in tumor reduction was observed at 83%. It has to do with cancer and tumors, so that's always a good one. Tumors, and that's always a good one to watch.
Yeah.
Cancer is a hot topic in the biotech world right now, so definitely some money to be made trading that stock. Another good bio stock, CYCN. Now, here's what's going on with CYCN, and here's what's going on with CYRN. People are mistaking CYRN for CYCN, and it's running sort of as a sympathy play. CYCN had a 13G and either a 13G or a 13D file, which are essentially the same thing, pretty much saying that somebody within the board of executives or on the executive suite has acquired above 5% of the float total, right? Doesn't mean they acquired it all yesterday, but over time they have accumulated above 5% of the float, which if an insider owns 5% of the float, that's pretty freaking big, right? Something big's about to happen, or there's a good reason they're doing that. So that's the stock to watch. And then CYRN is moving as a sympathy of that, and people are mistaking it for the same stock. It happens. So LOTZ, LOTZ, opens their 12th location that is to be placed in the Virginia market. And then GBS has released or is working on releasing a saliva-based glucose test. So if you have diabetes and typically you have to prick your finger, once a day or 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how often you have to check your blood sugar, you could go away from that. You could just spit on a little, swab and put that on one of those little meters, and it will measure your glucose levels, which they've already done some surveys, and they're saying automatically 90% of that market would be really excited to utilize that technology over having to prick their fingers 3 times a day, 4 times a day, whatever it may be. So I think that's a really big one to watch, and I think that one might be a good one to watch long term. So put GBS on your watch list. And then my last one is SLQT. They are set to join the small cap S&P 600. So you should see some movement off of that over the next couple of days. You might see a little bit of a sell-off. We tend to see a little bit of a sell-off after a gap up when it comes to this type of news. But if you find a good support, I would maybe take it long for a 2 or 3 day play. But that's all I'm watching this morning. Nothing too crazy out there besides some of the clove. Potentially even watching to take some profit off of Next, wait for a dip and take it for another run. This thing got price targets up to $15 and $20. So I would be okay with taking this all the way to 10, honestly. Other than that, good luck trading out there. Be careful and manage your risk well.
Alrighty, guys. Those of you on YouTube, we're going to go ahead and shut it down, and we'll see you guys after hours. So we are going to, if you guys are on YouTube or watching this later on today, I will be taking a quick break after trading, and we'll probably likely get right into the news and recapping the day, looking into the next day. That way we can kind of accommodate the hours around the world. So anyway, all right. Let's see here. Did you swing Boeing with me? Boeing CEO?
I've been in that long swing for July.
Yeah, I forgot about that thing.
Yeah,